When it comes to what your family eats and drinks, you know your choices matter. You're the expert because you know what fits your life. And getting it right starts with good information. That's why America's beverage companies are sharing more information about our ingredients at goodtoknowfacts.org. No spin, no judgments, just the facts straight from the experts for more than 140 beverage ingredients. Visit goodtoknowfacts.org.
Your sneakers on, no pads. Here we go. Here's how you grip a four seam. Here's how you get into the fielding triangle. Here's how you catch the ball with two hands. Here's how you get on a baseball knee. Here's how you talk about the game, like a warm up. And next thing I was like, dude, we got something here. Mm-hmm. So then we wrote the book, taking on the title of coach.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the show, The Determined Society, where today I have the privilege of introducing Coach Duke Baxter. He has over 4 decades of baseball experience. His knowledge is deeply rooted in all aspects of the game. He is a former professional baseball player who has received numerous awards and accolades, both as a collegiate and professional athlete. Today, Coach Duke dedicates his career to developing athletes at the Zone Sports Academy, the training facility he founded, and through his books and videos with Dominate the Diamond. His approach to coaching is inspiring, motivating, and fun, and humble, which, in my humble opinion, it is what the youth and sports need today. Everybody, welcome my new friend, Duke Baxter, to the show. What's up, homie?
Sean, thanks so much, man. So excited to see so much of your stuff on social media. Love the conversations that you're having, and figured, man, this is going to be a blast.
Dude, I got goosebumps right now. I haven't talked to another baseball guy on the show in so long. And I'm like, literally goosebumps. It's so exciting because before we were recording, this is for the audience, I asked him, where he plays college ball. And he told me University of North Florida. Right away, we knew the same people. Good old Dusty Rhodes, Smoke Laval, my boy Judd Loveland. So, man, just like, what a small world.
It's like, and when you do talking about baseball, it's like a fraternity, right? It's like once you're in, but It's almost like once you're out of playing, you feel like it's like your boys are gone until you go somewhere and you're like, holy cow, everybody knows everybody. It's such a small but yet big world, right?
It is. It's a big world, but a very small circle. And it's funny because I'm sitting here in the first minute and 48 seconds having this conversation with you. And I'm like, holy shit, my audience is going to feel a different fucking energy from me. Yeah. And then they're going to really get to know who I am, right? Because they think they know, right? But they haven't seen me talk to another high energy baseball guy. It's been a lot of, online celebrity entrepreneurs, big people. But, when I'm able to get down to my roots, this is what really excites me. And the one thing that I love about your content is even before you and I started, I think I found you through my boy Vic Ferrante. And, right. He and I connected randomly. He just saw a post of mine, and then we realized, like, dude, we grew up in the same backyard. Right. He's from the Bay Area. I'm from the Bay Area. And, then you come along, and I love your instructional videos. The first one I saw is how to get through a ground ball, pre-step movement, how to break down, all that good stuff. And what I realized is like, man, this guy's just not talking platitudes out there. Like a lot of people do, right? You really dive into the development aspect of these athletes, and dude, it fires me up. So, that sets you apart. So talk to me about that, man. Talk to me about your business and what you're seeing out there with young athlete development these days.
I think it's really interesting because when we first started it in 2002, I was still playing ball, just got finished. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, man, like, what am I going to do? Like, what do I want to do for a living? Right. Always wanted to be in the big leagues and be like, oh, I want to be a big leaguer. And then all of a sudden you play professional baseball and you're already looking to level up. It's like everything that we do, we're always like looking to get to the next level. And for me, only making it to the big leagues was my next level. And then all of a sudden baseball's over and you're like, who am I? Right? Like, who am I now? I'm Duke Baxter, the baseball player. But now all of a sudden you're taking the word baseball player out. Now it's like, okay, now who's Duke Baxter? Right? Mm-hmm. And so I knew I loved playing. I knew I loved coaching. Every summer, we'd come back and I would do camps and clinics and help kids. And I'm like, this is what I love doing. So how can I take what I know and have a passionate about and in the game and can continue and give back? So we created Zoned. It's a 28,000 square foot place in Bridgewater, New Jersey. The Somerset Patriots are 2 miles away. So a bunch of my buddies, we all came here and started giving lessons, doing classes, just like so many people do out there. And then it just kept on growing. So this year's our 20th year that we've been here. No, now we have scholarships, we have teams, we have, but in the process, I realized how many coaches are coaching, but they don't know how to coach. You'd be shocked that last winter we had 110 guys at our coaches clinic. And I'm like, oh, how many of you played high school ball? How many of you played Little League? And I'm like, how come no one's raising their hands? Like, there's like half of the coaches. And I'm like, how many guys, and I never asked this question, how many guys never coached before or played before? Half of the guys raised their hands. They've never touched a baseball before. And I'm like, okay, at the grassroots of the game, if we're trying to get these 5, 6, 7-year-old T-ballers to love the game of baseball, how are we doing it with people that have never touched a baseball? And
well, that's where you come in,
guys. And we know as baseball guys, it's hard enough to coach the game if you know what you're doing when you have 12 6-year-olds. How is a person that's never even touched a ball going to do it? So we started doing coaches because I'm like, okay, guys, guess what? No pads on the ground. Here's a bunch of gloves. Put your sneakers on. No pads. Here we go. Here's how you grip a 4-seam. Here's how you get into the fielding triangle. Here's how you catch the ball with 2 hands. Here's how you get on a baseball knee. Here's how you talk about the game, like a warm up. And next, I was like, dude, we got something here. So then we wrote the book, taking on the title of coach, because it's like a step-by-step guide to how to talk about the game, how to wear the uniform, different words to say, how to give a post-game speech, right? How to create a practice plan. So all those things that coaches didn't even know, like these are just moms and dads. They don't even call themselves coaches yet because they're not coaches. They're moms or dads coaching T-ball, right? So they don't know where to get a resource because they don't, if you were to say, hey, all you coaches out there, they're not even raising their hand as a coach yet, right? Like, no, I'm a dad that's coaching my 6-year-old how to play T-ball.
These are a lot of good points, man, because I see it all the time. I stepped away from high level coaching a long time ago, got into my sales career once I had my first child, wanted to be home more. Right now I have 3 kids. Right now I'm home a lot. I'm a medical device sales rep, and then I run this show. And so I'm here. But the one thing that I noticed, and I think I attribute it to this, and I want to know what you think the major issue is when it comes to how many people here have coached and nobody raises their hands. Well, how many people are just dads and I'm here for my kid. First of all, it takes a shit ton of courage. Okay. And I respect it. But for me, I'm wondering, is the lack of qualified coaches due to this game has evolved in such a way that sometimes can bring negative light to the Little League field, that, baseball dudes like me sometimes are just embarrassed to be on the field by what kind of the shit that goes on in the stands, what goes on with the other coaches. They don't know the fucking game and they're yelling. Was it you that posted that, that third base coach? And I go, that dude's an asshat, period. Was that you?
I posted that. There was something else that happened the other day. Like, this happened this summer with our 13U team. There was a guy coaching third, and in between games was doing a little drinking some beverages.
Jesus Christ.
The umpire makes a call, and the guy punches him right in the jaw, blows his jaw up. The guy was like 75-year-old umpire who's umpiring because he loves umping. I mean, the ambulance had to come take the guy out, and I was like,
you saw this. Your kids saw this. See, this. I'm goosebumps again. This is why I'm so happy you're on the show, because these are real life accounts. You see shit on social media all the time about these coaches going after umpires and parents going after umpires, yada, 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 all this shit. And then all of a sudden you see, a kid drop an F-bomb at an umpire, guilty as charged before. Sorry. But I struck out 3 times with bases loaded in one game. I was telling somebody to fuck off. I didn't care. I was terrible that game. Right. So I threw my bat across the field. But the bottom line is this: those children on that field, whether they were on the side fields, just observing the ambulance coming, probably the police, right? And all this stuff. And the kids that were on the field, your team and the other team, they're going to be impacted by that the rest of their lives. And there is no place on a baseball field. Listen, it is highly competitive, but what the fuck have we come to, man?
Mm-hmm. And it's crazy because you're like, we back in like 2005, we brought Brian Kane in, awesome.
Oh,
Back
he's
then, it was like
awesome,
mental
dude.
performance coaches,
Dude.
mental conditioning,
Yeah.
top of the line.
Dope. Yeah.
Nobody came. Nobody came. And I'm like, I had to pay people to come listen to him. They're like, we don't need that. But then on the same breath, they're like, I don't know why my son throws his stuff all over the place after. And I'm like, that's what we're talking about. How to
Dude.
get right? Like,
Well,
and then
I
you see
hope
the
some of
bad
you
and the
guys are
stick.
listening. I hope some of you guys are listening because I'm calling you guys out right now. If you ever say, I don't need to listen to Brian Kane, you're an asshat.
And it's like the same dad that's in the stands. Like, I don't know why my kid gets all frustrated. Meanwhile, the kid strikes out. The dad's taking his hat off. He's slamming on the ground. Like, dude, look in the mirror.
Bro, you're
Look in
modeling
the mirror.
behavior.
Like,
There's your
we see that
mini-me.
all the time. And we're like, okay, parents, you're wondering why your kid does X, Y, and Z, because the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. That's the bottom line of it. And it's like, so the kids, like you said, they watch the coaches. They see what they're doing. How do they react to the umpires? How do they react? And then they just do the same thing. Like they don't know any different. And then we want to bitch and moan when they are doing the same things that we're doing. So it's like, coaches, respect the game, respect each other, respect like what's going on, because that's what is teaching the kids. So that's why we feel it's so important to work with the grassroots coaches, not the guy that's coaching 14. You're like, he already knows what he's doing. And the kid already loves it. That 8-year-old doesn't know what he's doing. And he can't have a coach that's just going to scream and yell and, why are you missing the ball? Keep your head. Like that kid's like, there's way too many other things to do out there, like playing video games or other sports that are way more active than
TikToking.
baseball.
TikToking. Maybe blogging.
TikToking. Yes.
Fucking TikTok. Yeah, no, that's interesting. Like, where do you think this comes from, man? What is your guesstimation of why we're here? Why are we here in athletics like this right now with people fighting each other? Where do you think the pressures come from?
I think it's almost like you were asking before, why does the guy that doesn't even play the game, why does he coach? And it's like, well, think about this. If you were asked to go do something in front of 12 kids, in front of 12 parents with cameras, they're judging you, they're going to have an opinion, they're going to wonder why their kids aren't playing, and you don't really know what you're doing, why in the world would you raise your hand to do that? Yeah. Nobody's doing that. No one's going to go somewhere and put themselves out there when they have no tools to succeed, right? So, but then you do get the guy that Johnny's like, come on, daddy, will you please coach? We need a coach. So of course you're like, okay, I'll try to figure it out. So it's like, it's stressful though.
Yeah.
You're not just coaching the game. You're coaching the other 12 parents of how come Johnny's not pitching? Why isn't he playing shortstop? Why did he sit out 2 innings? And these coaches are like, I don't know. I'm just trying to figure this out as I go. So getting them the tools for that, I think, is so important. And that's how we created all these online courses to help T-ball coaches and first-time coaches. And here, download these free practice plans and field utilization charts. And, we have over 1,000 drills all over, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Like, here, free stuff. Like, just go look at our stuff and just learn. So that's kind of how we're like giving back to it,
Yeah, no, I think that's a great thing, man. Too many people want something, right? They want something from people. And what I've noticed is you're putting a lot of free content out there. Like you said, practice plans, field utilizations, anything that you can possibly think of. Like, to me, that's all valuable information. If you want to learn how to coach, right, go look at these types of things because, it is hard. And anybody in the right mind is going to be very anxious about hopping on a baseball field and being responsible for coaching the youth, especially these 6 and 8-year-olds. You're literally the first, you're the first line for them to see, like, okay, do I like this game or not? Right. And then parents are the second line. Like, what's my experience? Is it high level stress? What is it? The one thing that I see, and let's get into it. Okay. I see back in the day when I played and when you played, maybe we had American Legion. Maybe we might play summer ball. We definitely weren't playing fall ball. Right. But now, and again, like Ben Ford, don't hate me for this. I love you, man. Like, your organization is genius. You have you and your family are amazing entrepreneurs. But what's happening is all these players are going to perfect game showcases, and maybe they go to a showcase with maybe all the dudes aren't there. and they get this email, or they go on the website and they see they're ranked 5th in this showcase. Now, all of a sudden, Johnny's dad thinks he can go play at fucking LSU. Well, your kid's a 5 o'clock hitter. When the disco lights are on, he can't do it. I see that right now as a big problem. What are your thoughts?
Big, because there's so many rankings everywhere. You can figure out a ranking system that your son might look good in, right? If there's one that you're not, then you're going to keep on going. And I tell guys all the time, listen, if you throw 78 miles an hour today, you're still going to throw 78 miles next weekend.
Yeah.
So to pay $500 to go to a showcase, and I'm all for going to things and doing stuff, like all for it. But there's also something that has to be said about putting in the work to get to 82 or 83, putting in the time, putting in, doing other things than just, let me just, I have to just, what's my exit velo? What's my arm velo? What am I? It's like, bro, like there's training that has to go involved in it, not just what are my numbers? Okay, that's great. But now how do I improve my numbers?
Yeah.
What do I do to improve it? And that's the word work. I have to take action. I have to put something into it to get something more out of it. It doesn't just happen the more events I go to. Some people will raise ranks just, oh, wait, this is his 5th event. We got to throw him a little bit of a bone. Hey, this guy's got to, well, then the kids, then what?
Yeah. I mean, the reality is it's marketing. Okay. And it's great and it's genius. I think it gives, kids a great opportunity to play a lot of baseball, which I love. And I love it for that. But I think there's also a fine line of exposure and being exposed. Right. So when, to me, and this is something that I go through, my son is 9 and he's very raw, but dude, the kid gets in the slot and his bat path is flat through the zone. It's there a long time, but he hasn't figured it out yet. Right. He's 9. I'm not putting him on travel ball yet. I'm not burying him in lessons yet. He's 9. Let's continue to let him love the game. I'm going to teach him as much as I can. Right. As long as he'll let me, teach him, because I'm dad. I don't know shit. Right. And then from that point, we turn up the dial a little bit. Right. But I'm just seeing so much pressure on these young kids to be perfect, to go to these showcases. And it's almost like, in these poor parents, I don't think it's keeping up with the Joneses or anything like that. Dax, you know what I think it is? I think they truly believe that they have to do it or their child will not go to college and play baseball.
100%.
That's
I
fucking heavy, dog.
It's almost like when we were growing up, it's like, okay, we had a bat and 5 kids shared the bat. Nowadays, you have a bat. Oh, it's a $500 bat. If I got to give you the edge, here's a $500 bat. And Johnny just got the $600 bat. So so it almost like there is a piece that's keeping up with the Joneses, right? Like we didn't get those elements. It was like, hey, you just played. Now it's like, oh, you have to have the top equipment in order to play. Oh, you have to, it's like, why? And kids love still playing with their friends. I don't care how old you are. When a kid's 8 or 9, like your son, like it is a thing that they're playing with their buddies and they don't need to go and be on the best travel team. The mom or dad want them to be on the best travel team, but that kid doesn't even care about being on the best travel team. He wants to be on a team that Johnny's on and Maddie's on. And when they go in the hallway, they're talking and high-fiving. Like, there's a time and a place for that to happen. Or there's some towns maybe that there are no rec ball and you have to play travel in order just to play baseball. But so many people are taking the kids off of teams and they're on 5 teams in 4 years. And you're like, okay, maybe it's not the teams that are the problem. It's like someone that's in their 5th job in 3 years. You're like, okay, did they all stink? They all had the same issue, or is it the family or what's going on here? And I think parents don't think that's a real thing. And it so is a real thing. And coaches look at that and they ask those questions. What team are you on? Well, last year I was on this team and this year I'm on okay. Never mind.
Well, I mean, it could go that way into like when you get to be 14, 15 years old and the recruiters start coming out, right? And they're at these tournaments. So they start to notice, hey, you can play a little bit. You're scrappy, kind of a baseball rat, gap to gap power, whatever. Maybe you can hit a backside double and repeat it. Not a lot of power, great arm, decent speed. This is your 5th travel ball team in 2 years. I mean, kids and parents, listen to this, please. Listen to this. What that shows them is that you are going to leave their school the moment you do not get the favorable reaction from a coach. Because guess what, guys? When you get on the field, it is going to be completely different than when they recruited you. These college coaches are going to be like the nicest guys. Like, dude, when I was recruited by LSU, it was the most pleasant experience. And it was just like, oh, this is great. I made it. I got there and Turtle Thomas is have us playing long toss with no fucking glove. And I'm like, what is going on here? Like, this is the worst pain I've ever been in. And right away, I didn't have the best mindset, right? I went completely sideways. And, I got injured and it took me 2 years to get back on the field, and it just was what it was. But, kids and parents, you need to listen that what you do right now is going to follow you and it's going to follow your son.
Yeah.
We got to be better.
You know what else I think is a good point to that? It's like parents want to create such a perfect environment, right? A perfect environment. Then all of a sudden, when something doesn't go right, now what happens? Like you just said, you go to LSU, you're like loving it. The guys are, have the white gloves on and treating you perfect until something isn't. Well, how do you even deal with that afterwards?
Yeah.
Like, a kid that when he strikes out, the parents going like this, the kid, oh my, why are you giving up a home run? How did you strike out? It's like, dude, like you're teaching them to deal with adversity like that.
Yeah.
That they should stress out over it and it's wrong and it's bad. Well, you better not play the game or any sport or do anything in life because you're going to get these all day long and it's okay. Hey, buddy, get him next time. Hey, buddy, let's go. Get your glove and let's go play some defense. Like that's how you have to teach them how to just bounce back, right? Everyone wants a kid, a player that has the bounce back factor. You have to have short mindset, like a goldfish. So what? Next pitch. Oh, I already forgot what happened. Boom, let's go.
Yeah.
Next ball. Or you have that kid that's just, the worst teammate. Oh, you can tell that he struck out all over his sleeve and he's going to go for 3 the entire game because he's already, what's going to happen. It's like
he's crying
those guys a million times.
Yeah.
And it's trying to reteach that in the kids as a coach. Like, hey, I do things you'll see in my drills. Like I'm challenging these guys. I know I'm doing things that they can't do. I'm throwing velocities on a machine that kid can't hit. And all I want to do is foul it off to be like, okay, I fouled one off. Ooh, that time I barreled it a little bit. Ooh, that time. And now you're like, look, so when we face that guy at 12 years old throwing 70,
it's nothing.
At least we've seen it before and we know we can figure it out. Right. So it's like trying to build that into the kids to where it's like, man, there's nothing that I can't do. It's not going to be easy, but I know how to attack it.
And I think I love that because, as a baseball player, when you're growing up, you're always exaggerating in drills. Right. And I don't think, velocity is mutually exclusive. I don't think, a nasty hammer on a pitching machine is mutually exclusive. I think you challenge them in practice and make it fun to the point where when they get in the game, they're able to do the one thing that we always ask our players, slow the game down. If you don't put them in pressure field situations in practice, how do you expect them? And this all goes back down to practice planning, and we can get into that, is if you are having a practice where you do indie defense, pitchers are doing PFPs, infielders are maybe flipping some DPs, maybe they're, doing some bunties, and you got catchers doing receiving, and then you go into maybe a quick team D and then a BP for the rest of the time. Where's the pressure? Where's the pressure? And again, like, I'm not saying pressure has to be a bad thing. So the people that are watching and listening, like, pressure is a great thing. It is a blessing. Diamonds aren't formed without pressure. So on a baseball field, in a practice, in a controlled setting, you need to apply as much appropriate pressure as you possibly can. So that way, when the game comes, man, you can just let it fly. Where is that now?
It's like the instincts, right? It's like, I remember Coach Rhodes, you'd be like, okay, infield, Ichiro Suzuki's running. So you knew as an infielder, okay, he's getting down the line in 3.3 seconds. And all of a sudden you saw guys bobbling balls. They're because you're trying to go so fast. But he trained us at a certain time. Yeah. Like, these are the different time clocks that need to happen. Okay, now you got the number 4 hitter and he's a 4.8. Now let's get our feet underneath us. Let's field the ball. Let's get our shuffle in. Let's. So there was always something that had that pressure involved. So you're doing your routine. Okay, now we're going to put the pressure on it. Now we're going to kick it back to routine. Now we're going to right? So that you can have fun during the game.
Yeah.
Practice was training.
Yes.
Practice was work. I always say practice is my time as a coach to get you guys to where you need to be. and then the game is for you to go have fun, and I'm just
I'm
giving you
there.
high fives and doing whatever. And whatever you don't do well, I'm going to drill you hard in practice next week. But
Yeah.
it's not going to be,
Yeah.
come on, Johnny, let's go. Like
Dude, you didn't
no,
do
it's
it.
too
You didn't
late
get
for
it
that.
done. You didn't get it
Right.
done. Doesn't matter. It's funny because I talked to my son. He struck out one of the very last games. It was a playoff game. He's 9. Like I said, he's 9. He comes up and he's like wanting to cry so bad. And he comes to me because I was coaching first base. I said, son, you got to get in the dugout. It wasn't a strike. It was a ball. I go, what about the first 2? It's like, I'm just asking, right? Here's what I want you to understand, son. I go, you're not going to do it every time. What I expect you to do is to go in there and cheer on your teammates, and then go out in the field, whether you're at third base, second base, or left field, and make a play, man. Contribute some other sort of way. And to go back to your Ichiro comment, it's funny because you're painting this storytelling picture of what Dusty Rhodes would do. And guys, if you don't know who Dusty Rhodes is, he's an old time University of North Florida coach. This guy's awesome, one of the nicest dudes I know. Bob Shepard is one of my best friends, by the way.
Really?
Yes, Shep. Yes. I used to do camps with him, my boy Josh Core, down in the Keys, like every summer. Anyway, I digress. So you're talking about Ichiro. In my mind, I'm thinking, okay, is there a trail runner? Is there a lead runner? Now he's a trail runner. If I bobble the ball, can I do an arm pump and can I go backside play? Right? There's always other things to really work on in these practice field situations that if you just do it there, like the game is just easier. And I mean, the things that I see, in little league development now, Duke, it just really concerns me.
Yeah. You know what I liked about what you said about, your son struck out. When I first started coaching, my son was 9 years old. He was 8, but the team was 9 and they're playing, right? And I'm like, the tears was just a thing. And I was like, it got me so far up, like, stop crying. Like, don't. And then I would watch a game, the other team, their 2 best guys. The number 3 guy smokes a rocket at the third base when he catches it. Tears start coming down. The number 4 hitter gets up, rips a ball. Tears start coming. I'm like, wait a second. There's something to this. All the best guys are the ones that are showing the emotion. And since they're so young, they don't know how to, because they feel like they let their team down. They feel like they're so intense that tears were the only way that a young kid. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to stop saying stop crying, because nobody ever stopped crying by saying stop crying. Nobody ever felt better by saying stop, get out of a bad attitude, like, or you know what I mean, smile. So I said, listen, you can cry all you want. I said, but you better be on the fence, shaking it and cheering on a teammate.
Yeah,
you better
crying.
not be sulking in the corner while you're crying. That's not okay. But if you're
Yeah.
going to cry and cheer on your friend because you can't help it, I don't care. You can cry all you want. I'm not gonna stop you from having those feelings because you're a bulldog and you're a stud player. But I'm gonna teach you how to just, the second part of it, like you just said, grab your glove and go steal some hits.
What are you gonna do? Like go steal some hits, man. Like, go cover some ground. But the thing is, like, to your point, like, the crying doesn't bother me. Like, my son can cry all day when he strikes out or whatever he, something bad happens, he doesn't do well, cry. But what I cannot stand, and to your point, I think this is where you're going with it too. I can't stand the player that is crying mid inning and shuts down on his team and doesn't make plays. Like, and then all of a sudden, like, one jam job behind the dish and he's crying, oh my God, I need to come out of the game. No, motherfucker, you're hiding now. Now you're hiding because you're weak-minded. And I don't care what age, the problem lies though, that, and you can't blame the kids. These children act this way because they're afraid of disappointing their parents.
Dude, you're going to love this story. So now my son's 10. My other son, I have 4 kids, 3 boys. So Tyler's on deck, and one of the kids gets hit, and I'm coaching third base. Gets hit, goes in the ground, and you would have thought that he got shot by a gun. The coaches came flying out like ice packs. The kid's bawling. Like, the coach's like, do you want to come out of the game? I was like, what is going on here? So the game was over. I said to the coach, I said, listen, if another kid gets hit, we are not going to say a word. We're going to say hustle down to first. The first baseman's going to check them out, and we're going to continue. There's no somebody's running for you or you're coming out of the game because you got hit by a baseball, because then they're going to think that It's such
bad.
a bad thing that just
Yeah.
happens. It's happened all the time. So my son's up, gets freaking smoked in the chin, right? Gets smoked in the chin, goes down like a rocket. I, as a dad, wanted to go like run the check on him, right? Didn't do a word. I stopped. I'm like, let's go, Ty, hustle down. He got up, dusted himself off, ran to first base, like nothing happened. Everyone's like,
yeah.
And I'm like, no, that's what you need to do in anything in life. Like, you dust yourself off, you get back up, you hustle down, and like you, right? So you're like, or the kid's gonna be scarred forever. The first kid goes down, the coaches almost caught him before he fell on the floor. They were so fast.
It's so funny, dude. Like you're gonna love this one too. So, like, you ever seen the movie Meet the Parents?
Yes.
Where she gets smoked at the fucking volleyball, and the mom runs in and like pretty much walks on the water, and she flails around everywhere. So, dude, like my wife, my son learned he has an absolute rocket this year. Okay. He's playing center field, and this kid hits a ground, base hit, and the kid was slow. He comes up on it and chooches it on a line to first base. And I'm like, holy shit, what was that? I was like, okay, you got your daddy's arm. And he just buckled, bro. He buckled like his back. I mean, like, it was a lot of exertion, right? I mean, he wasn't used to that type of exertion with his body. And I see my wife sprint to the snack shack to get ice. I looked at the guy I was coaching with. I'm like, you keep my wife off this fucking field. I'm going to go check on him. He's fine. I get 5 steps out. She's got the bag of ice and she's like trying to climb the fence. I go, do your job, man. And like, it's just so funny because like, dude, if you go out there for a little, like you said, like every little thing, like you, as a baseball guy, if someone's really hurt.
Right.
Like, like if a ball jumps off a bat and hits a pitcher in the face, I'm out there in 2 seconds because that could end his life. Right. But yeah, he ended up, it was hurting him. Yeah. Right. But we threw some all natural tiger bomb on him that night and he was fine. He didn't come out of the game. It wasn't even his arm that he hurt. It was his back. He just fucking hosed it, dude. So, I mean, but to your point, man, like we got to make sure that when we're training these athletes and coaching these young baseball players, that we're creating strong kids. Because if you take that tool out of their tool belt to deal with that injury adversity, they're not going to be shit in life. Right. They're going to get hit in the mouth when they're adults and they're going to buckle and they're going to be homeless. I mean, that's an extreme, right? But the point is, like when things get tough, you have to dial in and you have to work through the pain.
Definitely. And our latest course that we did is our mental performance course. And it's, again, all the courses that we're designing are for the coaches to help them with the players, right? So if you have a 9-year-old, like you're trying to teach them how to rip the wrapper off the bat on a bad swing so it cleans it up and it's almost like ready to go again, right? Or, flush it when something bad happens so they can kind of reset themselves. Or, talking to a kid about the mental side to help them overcome something that happens. So it's like creating that environment of like the mental side. So the parents need to kind of buy into that too, though, because them, shaking the fence and doing this after a bad strikeout or, coaches throwing clipboards. It's like the kid's going to, is just going to totally crumble, like you're saying, when those situations happen. So creating that environment to help them teach the kids, hey, no problem, let's go. Or, just trying to really reinforce the positive things. So what good happened today? You robbed 2 plays. Yeah, you went 0 for 3 today, but, you tagged up, you got a runner over, you made that sick diving play at shortstop. There's so much more to the game than just how many hits did you get? How about did the team win? Right?
Yeah, how about that
Nowadays, when we played, it was like, how was the day? Oh, we lost. You never said, oh, it was great. I went 3 for 3 with 2 dubs. Well, how'd your team do? Yeah, we lost, but nowadays kids just say what they did. Yeah. We used to be, if we lost, it was a bad game.
Why do you think that is? Where does that come from?
I think it comes from, like you were saying, like stats. Everybody has game changer now. Oh, Johnny's batting 330 and, Sean's only batting 310. Why is Sean batting 3rd and my son's batting 6th?
Yeah.
It's like everyone has data supporting instead of saying, yeah, but Sean's hitting balls on the screws and little Johnny's getting these little dinker hits. Like
Yeah.
there's a difference. It's not just stats. It's not just
Yeah.
numbers, but kids see the numbers everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't even worry about the numbers. Like we just did everything we could to get the team to win, and we won. Oh, what are you hitting? I have no idea. Nowadays, it's like, oh, well, if I go 0 for 3 today, I'm going to go down to 290. Oh, if like everything's already calculated.
Yeah, they calculate the batting average.
Face.
Yeah. You know, dude, like I think there's a lot of that. And then also too, it's like the showcase mentality.
Yeah.
You know, it's no longer, you know, team. It's me, and fill in the blank after that. We know what that means, right? Baseball people listening know what I was about to say. But you know, it's a thing where I think the showcases are good. I'll keep going back to it. I think they're great if you're a player, but if you're walking around the halls of your high school, you're not the best player in your high school, much less the best player in your Tri-County area. Why are you flying to Florida to go to the BCS? Like, why? Like, you're just going to get exposed. And then, you know, what's going to happen, you know, your team's going to get boat raced, right? In the pool play, you're not going to give a shit. Fuck, man, I went 2 for 2 with a bomb. I'm the guy. No, you're just creating distance between yourself and the rest of the team. But like, to me, I just think that I just think it's as good as it is for the game for these kids to play and those things. I think it also hurts them if they are given the wrong mentality.
100%. And I think there's so much. I always have 3 rules. It's hustle, attitude, and effort, right? Like you got to give what you can control. But then there's the whining and complaining and the excuses. I'm like, there's no whining. There's no making an excuse. I don't want to hear, I thought it was a ball. Well, guess what? You're out. Like he called you out. It's a strike. So
it was close enough. There's 2 strikes.
But you're not blaming. Everyone wants to blame everybody else for. So we had a rule that we did this year, and that is, if anyone goes like this, we have to drop and get 5 push-ups. The coaches do it. The kids do it. Because what does this mean? It wasn't my fault.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I didn't do it. So that's automatically a negative. Like for everybody else, like this means like it's not. So now we all do it. If a coach does it, 5 push-ups, the whole team drops down. So it's like, you know what?
Awesome.
We're going to figure out that we got to take accountability for ourselves for whatever it is. You know, like no matter what we're doing, look in the mirror, coaches. Like if your kids are all doing something and you don't like it and everyone's like, you're doing something wrong. Yeah. You're not teaching it. You're not, you know, I always have a notepad and it's like all the coaches out there, you know, you have a game, you're writing down many notes. That's my practice plan. These are the things we did wrong in the game. These are the things that we did well. So we'll talk about those, but these things that we didn't do well, our practice plan's already set up for us. Yep. We're going to grind it out, guys. And here's what we're going to do. It's my job as a coach to prepare you for what we need to do. If you're not doing rundowns, I'm not yelling at the kids. I'm yelling at myself to go, I'm not doing it enough.
Yeah. It's on me. It's on me. And then you do this and then you got to do 5 push-ups, right? It's like, I mean, here's the thing. It's like, that's a great point, Duke, because there's a lot of coaches out there that'll yell and scream post game about the things that the players did shitty. And this is, you know, high school level. And then, you know, some of the 15, 16U stuff, and it gets a little aggressive, but you know, but then there's no follow-up on working with the things that they need to work on. So I think it's important. And you talk a lot about building a good culture and environment in player development. So walk the audience through that. And some coaches that may be listening and struggling to implement that in their program. Because to me, a program that is disciplined, a program that has coaches that hold themselves accountable to good practice and preparation for the players wins.
Yeah.
Period. So how have you been able, you and the people that you surround yourself with, been able to implement that within your organization and your business?
I think it all started with Coach Rhodes and with these coaches that taught us that culture starts with the coach, right? When you go out there, if it was 6:00 in the morning, Coach Rhodes was already on the field, manicuring the field, making sure there wasn't a sunflower seed in the dugout, making sure. So when you went onto that field, he would always say, I want it just as clean when you leave as you found it when you got here. So you already knew, like, that's the standard. There was no, well, I didn't know. No, the standard set already. Yeah. You know, like, so I think that coaches need to communicate with their players what they expect. What are the rules? What are their standards? Right? Like, we're going to respect the game. We're going to respect the other team. So if you respect the game, there's no jogging down to first base on a ball, on a
Drive,
fly
drives
ball.
me,
You're
drives me.
busting down the line as fast as you can.
Like,
There's no so every aspect. So we don't have 1,000 rules. We just have standards that make their own rules, right? Like you know what those are, and the kids would know. If that kid jogged down and I took him out of the game, he knew why, and so did the mom and dad. Like there wasn't like, how come you took Johnny out? Okay, ask Johnny. He'll tell you why.
Yeah.
Well, I hit the fly ball, and so I think that creating a culture starts with the coach, and it starts with upholding to those standards, right? I call it dropping the mic because it's easy when the number 4 hitter comes 5 minutes late, and you're like turning your eyes to the other side. Oh, hey, I'm glad everybody's here.
Yeah, I
Whoa,
didn't
what
see
happened
you.
to? But then the number 12 hitter comes in late, and you're trying to make an example of him. Okay, you're going to sit the first 3 innings because you came late to the. So many coaches do it backwards. You got to make the example of the best kid so that they all have to do the same exact thing. You have to, so I think that over time I've created an environment and these standards that, hey, if you're going to play, this is what we're going to do, and we always take 2 leaders a week that lead everything. They lead the warm-ups, they lead the stretching, they lead the BP, they make sure all the balls come out of the cages. They lead the warm up in between infield outfield. Then they come get me when they want infield outfield. They make sure that when we're done with the game, they're picking up the dugout and making sure all the other guys are doing it. So now it's like you're building leaders, right? So now everyone's listening because when they're the 2 leaders next week, they're going to want everybody to listen to them with what they're doing. And now you'd be amazed to be like, wow, so and so Johnny's a damn good leader out there. I didn't think he was going to be. Or you'll see someone that you thought was, and no one's listening to him. And you're wondering why. Like, there's so many cool things to that. Instead of so many coaches want to, everything's my way. It's my rules. You're going to do it this way. I always go, listen, you guys, you're the team, and I'm helping create you so that when you are in middle school and you're hustling and doing all these things, that coach is going, dude, this guy's a baller. Like, I need this guy. Not a guy that needs, okay, what am I supposed to do, coach? Okay, coach, where am I supposed to? Who wants that? Who wants that in the workplace? Who wants that on the baseball field? Like, you want guys that are like, okay, guys, here's what we're going to do. Communicating, talking, listening to the players, right? The other day we did a sick practice and I was like, okay, we didn't tag up well. We didn't do rundowns well. And our pickoffs were, So I said, you guys are going to run the stations today. Here's what I want to have done though. 3 of you guys are going to be here. One guy's taking the tennis racket and hitting the fly balls to the outfielder, and the other guy's going to tag up, and you guys are going to work it yourselves. You hit the fly ball, he catches it, the other guy runs back, tags, and goes. At second base, I had 2 guys in the middle, and one guy saying, go. The shortstop would run, the kid would throw the ball, he would catch and tag, and they'd rotate around. At first base, I had one guy in the mound, one guy as the runner, and the other guy was the first baseman. So he was working on pickoffs. And so I had all 12 kids were running their own stations, and it was sick. And I told the coach, I said, listen, this isn't going to be perfect, right? Like, don't even talk to them if they're doing things wrong, but let them watch what happens. And now it was like, dude, we were working on pickoffs, we were working on running, tagging, we were working on so many things, but so many coaches want to like, you're doing it like this instead of giving the kids, listen to what the kids want to do. And that's how they're going to have fun. And we got tons of work in. Yeah, it got a little, they didn't do everything perfect, but
it was messy action.
Like, that was the best practice ever, Dad. That was so fun. We like, okay, maybe I need to do that once every other week. Mix in some of that stuff. So I think we need to listen more to our players instead of dictating what happens.
That's huge, man. I respect that so much because you're giving them that extreme ownership and autonomy to run their own program. And with that comes the great pride. And with that great pride comes dynamic performances. There's no question. And I always say this, and people think I'm crazy. I don't think there's another sport on the face of this earth, and I'll argue it till I'm blue in the face, that parallels life as much as baseball does. Yeah. Because, in football, if you're 30% success rate, like, you're done. You suck. If you're a goalie and you only block, 3 out of 10, you're done. If you're a baseball player, you are taught at an early age that failure is your path. And too many kids now, and adults for that matter, in corporate America or, the online space or whatever it is, this F word, failure, scares the shit out of them. And to me, like if you're in the gym and you're lifting, and Will Smith said this amazing on a YouTube video about 8 years ago: fail early, fail often, fail forward. Right.
Yep.
And when you're lifting weights, you are shooting for failure. Like you want the last 3 to be so hard, you need somebody to help you and pull you along. And that's the same thing with baseball. It's the same thing in life. When you're building a business, when you're in a marriage, you're teaching your kids how to be great kids. And also you're teaching yourself how to be a great parent and adult and professionals. Like you have to fail. Let them have the autonomy to fail a little bit and find out what works better. Do you want kids that are empowered or do you want robots?
100%. Yeah.
I mean,
that's perfect right there. That's
bro,
what
shit, man, we should be running
want.
a team together, man. That'd be sick. Could you imagine? These kids would melt down from all the positivity and the high energy. They're like, there can only be one of these motherfuckers. Like I can't have French along here. They got to coach on separate teams. Oh man, dude. Listen, dude, we got to land the plane, but I really enjoyed having you on the show and giving a peek into your philosophy, your coaching style. You talked a lot about your programs and things. I'm going to make sure that I provide the audience with all the links involved so they can go check you out, purchase your courses. Because for those baseball people listening, even if you're a mom and you have and this is not even if you're a mom, it sounded so bad. I'm sorry. If you're a mom and you have no desire to coach, but you want to understand the game better, you want to understand how Johnny should be wearing his uniform, you want to understand all the ins and outs, buy the book. What was it called again?
Taking on the title of coach.
I mean, how empowered are you going to feel when you roll up to the baseball park and you know what the hell's going on? My wife, she's from South America, and soccer, she understands completely, but baseball, it takes a lot for her to understand, and just because wasn't a part of her culture. So I do the best I can, but I'm probably going to have to pick up your book and give it to her, so that way, she always wants to learn, why is this happening? Well, if there's 2 strikes, why, if it's a foul ball, shouldn't he be out? Like just normal things that you think are self-explanatory because you've been around the game so long aren't necessarily so self-explanatory for everybody. But my main point is I just want people that love this game to truly dive in to Duke's content, to dive into his courses and, create a movement. Can I get a commitment from you guys to help create a movement of positivity, of good culture and respectful athletes and respectful parents? No one should go to the field scared that they're going to get hit in the jaw if they're umpiring. Guys, we have got to do better. We have got to do better, man.
Let's go, man. I'm fired up. I appreciate you. Appreciate you and everything that you're doing, Sean. It's awesome, man. Like I said, every time you pop up on the feed, I have to stop and be like, something good's getting ready to happen right here. Some stuff you just keep going. Let me see what Sean's up to today. Who's he got on now? I'm like, dude, that's good content.
I appreciate it, man. That's the thing. It's a process, right? I have my process. I know what I'm doing. I'm not that I know everything. I know what I'm doing as far as my process. I know what I need to do.
And you know your audience. You know your audience. You know what people are looking for that are watching you in and out of like what's going on. Some things have just eye candy and people will just stop. And then there's people that know that there's content and education that's leading into it. So
and I try, man. I appreciate that because, again, I don't get as much hits or likes or comments or shares as some of the eye candy, right? But the bottom line is I have value just as you do. We're providing educational content for the masses. And to me, the more that we can continue to empower people and support each other in that journey is just vital to everybody's success and the success of young athletes and just online creators in general and coaches. So, dude, many thanks to you. And I know you and I will be, chatting again. So until next time, guys, go check out my boy Duke. And if you're out there coaching, thinking about coaching, I want you to think about one thing. It being your responsibility to give some young boy or some young girl the most positive experience in their life. Because guess what? That might be their only experience. Think of that. And I'll talk to you guys soon.